I cannot tell you how to spend your money. Well, I can, but you don't have to listen. Let me tell you though, if you spend money on this game to beat Forgotten Hall, then you're gonna feel like Mr. Dawei playing a string instrument. The good feeling only lasts so long. There's like a billion Honkai Star Rail videos on if the game is good for free to play or not, but this is the only one you need.
Don't listen to anyone else, Trailblazer. I will be the one to guide you amongst the stars and help you make the right decision. Me, and only me. They can't help you. And you wouldn't want to disappoint me, would you?
That was weird. I've been playing Honkai Star Rail for about 2 betas now, and between studying the craft and being on all fours for Seala, I can confidently say I've come to a conclusion on how playable this game is for free-to-play players. And I can confirm that you can play the game. Unless your main console is Xbox, in which case you're kind of f***ed. First off, the free-to-play units in this game are actually good. And it's easy to say that at the launch of any game. Power creep is real, and I would be surprised if we didn't see power creep on the level of Dragon Ball. That is, if this game didn't take after Genshin Impact, where characters are actively getting weaker. But we'll get to that a little bit later. In Honkai Star Rail, you get a bunch of characters for free. You get the main character, which should have all of the elements available to them in about 10 years from now. Horizontal Xiao, Mona without energy problems, Snarky Barbie, Gotcha Gamer, Primo Gems, Rosaria, and Serval. Of all of these units, how many do you think are usable for the endgame? If your answer was none of them, then you're probably used to being let down. It's okay, me too. You'll be glad to hear that unlike other Hoyo games, the starting cast is unironically strong, even compared to some of their 5-star counterparts. Danheng deals wind damage, and he's actually great for bosses. He's someone you're probably going to invest in even if you have better options, because at release, there's not a ton of wind options to begin with. March 7th is an amazing support with powerful shields and a freezing utility. Using her is going to allow you to protect your characters that are targeted for heavy-hitting attacks, and freezing enemies allows you to dish out more damage without taking it. The Trailblazer has decent AoE damage in their physical form, and in their fire form, they're easily a top-tier tanking unit that covers your teammates with shields and taunts. And they're hot. Serval is an insane AoE damage dealer, competitive with gacha options. This lady, whose name I can't pronounce, is a decent free quantum character. Asta can break weaknesses fairly well with her skill, and she also has buffs, including a speed one, which can be extremely helpful. Natasha has powerful heals, cleanse, and a low-cost ult, and Herta has a great personality. All of these characters can be great in their own respects, and even though almost all of them have 5-star counterparts, these should be seen as upgrades rather than necessities. Yunqing is just pay to win Danheng, Japard is AoE March 7th, Welt slows enemies down so that it can actually keep up with what they're doing. Come on, old man. Bailu is Chi-Chi if you actually used her. Ilya and Berserker have the highest AoE damage dealing in the game. Bronya is probably the best character in the game, and Himiko has a great personality. And I know a lot of these can conceptually sound pretty broken, but you're going to be getting some of these characters anyways. Honkai Star Rail is giving a ton of free pulls at launch, and there's a guaranteed 5-star banner that gives you a discounted one 50 pulls in. So if you're broke like me, this is basically a dream come true. Something that a lot of players definitely overrate though is the hard pity for character selection, where you get to choose a standard character to bring home at 300 pulls on a standard banner. The year is 2032. Genshin Impact has just ended its main story, and Honkai Star Rail is only a few years off. You get your last standard warp out of the monthly shop. You've been waiting for this for so long. You've never spent your gacha currency on standard wishes because you're free to play, and so there's no reason to. You want all of the exclusive characters. And finally, despite you having 7 copies of a character you never wanted to play, you can choose to bring home a character that you never got. Bronya. This is your opportunity to completely change the game forever. You select Bronya, you're elated, and you can't wait to play. And service is ending. Better luck next time. It's a good feature, but it will take you a long time to get. I honestly wouldn't expect to collect that free character for at least the first 2 years of playing the game for an average player. Speaking of pulls, you're probably wondering, Brax, how many event warps were you able to get in the 92? The answer is 92. This amount varies based on how much you played, the quests you did, if you did the events, etc. And I'm sure a lot of people got more than 92. But I will tell you that because this game isn't like Genshin with absurd amounts of ground to cover, like your real life self, you will be broke. You don't have as many ways to get the premium currency, and without them, you will struggle more in Honkai Star Rail than Genshin to get the 5 stars you want. Especially since they continued Genshin's pity system, which is an absolute tragedy. That is 90 hard pity and a 50-50 to get the character that you want, with a guarantee if you lose your 50-50. At least we have soft pity at 75, so your odds go up there, and pity carries through banners, kind of like Genshin Impact. In fact, there's a lot like Genshin in this game. The NPCs are the same, the menus and UI look really similar, there's a Spiral Abyss style game mode like Genshin, open world chests, an artifact relic system, resin. Wait a second, is this just Genshin Impact? That's actually the main reason I think this game will be free to play friendly though, which sounds insane, I know, but hear me out. Genshin Impact has had a sort of power regression issue for a while. Sure, they've released the occasional busted updated unit, but many of the newer characters aim specifically to dial back the power of players because, to be honest, there's a whole laundry list of free-to-play accessible units that make the game way too easy. And you have to admit that ever since Inazuma, a lot more characters have had energy issues, lower multipliers, and then there was her. Characters are getting more and more niche, not only because Hoyoverse wants to create unique designs, but also because they don't want to make a stronger Bennett. Here's my tinfoil hat theory. Genshin is a giga casual game. They want casual players, and to be honest, I sometimes think that they regret that they made the game so great for theory crafters. The reason Genshin blew up is because not only did it fill a niche for anime open world and release on mobile, while also catering to those waiting for Blue Protocol, but it also is just super easy to play for people that have never played a video game before ever in their life. The ways they keep the game casual is by not introducing things that could be harmful to the casual experience, like meaningful endgame or real catgirls. I was able to beat the endgame of Honkai Star Rail with 6 out of 8 of the characters being the free ones. And while turn-based games are more susceptible to power creep than other types of gachas, I think that Honkai Star Rail will try to keep the new units from power creeping old and free-to-play accessible units. Because by showing that they want to pull in Genshin's audience with all of their Genshin gameplay elements, they're showing that they want a casual audience. They want that same success that Genshin had, which means they could very much follow Genshin's power regression formula, or even just power stagnation formula once players start to understand how broken Tingyun is. What? What the fuck? I mean, they already kind of started. They nerfed Seela multiple times in beta and she's still broken. Believe it or not, Hoyoverse's public opinion does matter to them, and they do want to look like the good guys amongst a sea of gacha games, even when all gacha is predatory. So that's why I feel like even when they release a bunch of new units, they won't be significantly more powerful than other units. Sure, there will be outliers, but I think it's unlikely that this game's gonna power creep in the same way that everyone's predicting. Basically, you won't get a ton of event pulls compared to Genshin Impact, but the standard 5 stars are really good, so when you lose 100% of your 50/50s, you're still getting a lot out of them. And the 4-star starting units are also amazing too. I also just want to add that they give you 4-star and 5-star light cone weapon options as a free-to-play too, so that's not something that you have to worry about either. Personally, I think that you should stay free-to-play or low spender mode on Honkai Star Rail, because with game knowledge, you can clear most of the content with the starting characters, at least as of the closed beta test. I could be wrong, but that's my experience. So get excited if you're going to be free-to-play on Honkai Star Rail. Our brand new favorite space game is just around the corner, but honestly, the only space you should be worried about right now is the space on your hard drive. Yikes.